Attention, this is an interruption. Stay tuned for a message from the God.
Number 5%, not a 10% amazing.
The real, yo.
I have more respect for a man who lets me know where he stands, even if he's wrong, than the one who comes up like an angel and is nothing but a devil.
The real, yo.
Number 5%, not a 10% amazing.
Peace and blessings. Peace to Allah's mighty 5% nation of gods and to all the human families on the planet Earth. We bid you a love, peace, and happiness and high salute. I am DJ KY's Allah, aka Kato, the black superhero. Welcome to another exciting and explosive episode of Real2reel360. We got a great one for you so that you don't want to miss. So I suggest you sit down, relax, tell a friend to bring a friend because it's on and popping. You don't want to miss this interview. So, all right, so let me bring up my co-host with the most, my brother in God. We here. Mr. PhD, are you ready? Let's go, my brother.
Am I the meanest?
Sure enough.
Am I the baddest mofo low down around this time?
Sure enough.
But who am I?
Joshua Law.
Who am I?
Joshua Law.
I can't hear you.
Joshua Law. Mr. PhD.
Peace to all our followers, likers, and subscribers. Thank y'all for tuning in again with Real2reel360. We locked and loaded in here tonight. We have a legend in Southern Soul Blues. I mean, not just a legend, but his DNA is of royalty. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the game. So before we get into it, we definitely about to get into it. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna dig deep into his history of music, his knowledge of music. So make sure you get a pen, paper, you know what I'm saying, and a pad, because this one right here is going to be a lesson for all individuals who are looking to get into the business. So let's get together, get your hands together for the one and only, Mr. Charles Wilson.
How you doing, Joshua?
What's happening with you, bruh?
Just
Hey.
take it one day at a time.
One thing I always say when royalty in music come in, you know what I mean? The history, the life lessons, and the experience weighs a lot more than anything else. The education of who you are, who your family members are, and the people that you was around to help groom you, because you came up in an age where artist development, understanding the business, the ups and downs, and you watched how the business actually evolved to what it is today. So I want to, you know what I'm saying, salute you off the top for that alone.
Thank you much.
And for those who don't know you, Mr. Wilson, I don't know why they don't know you or why they wouldn't, because you've been around a long time and you've been with some of the greatest in the game. Could you introduce yourself to our people?
Well, I'm Charles Wilson, the nephew of the late great Little Milton. Started recording my first at 14 years old. I went on the road with Bobby Russ. My first, he went to my on the road with him. I started Bobby Russ, what we call a ballet, driving his car rather, pro, with opening all of that. I did that for like 4 years. I graduated out of high school at 5. I at college from my own. 1970, I recorded a song titled I Love Her. Then I recorded a title Trying to Make the Wrong Thing Right with Warner Brothers purchased from for an artist that they called Rick. Now, some liked it, called me, I flew, found me. We made I sold the whole thing. So that's where I was with my family was music line. That started working in nightclubs. Bobby Rush one brought me out on the road. And needless to say, I didn't know him and my Uncle Lou Milton was best of friends. But I found that out being over my Uncle Milton house when I started talking about Bobby Rush. How I got connected with Bobby Rush, my high school division went out to the club one night, saw him perform, told me he had a student that wanted to get into the business. Bobby Rush had a manager. So I went over Andre's house, he connected with Bobby Rush. At the time, Bobby Rush had a barbecue house on 7th Cross in Chicago. And I just kept going and talking with him. He finally put me on the road with him. That's how I got started.
Now, when the experiences that you have, what are some of the ones that you hold near and dear to you that you've learned over the years that you kept, you know what I'm saying,
Well,
being around your uncle with Bobby Rush and other artists of that stature?
those old guys, man, they pulled up on their own boots. You learn so much history. When I came into, there was Willie Clayton. Okay, there wasn't all the other artists. They didn't even exist. Uh, Floyd Taylor was around, but he wasn't truly recording. You just kind of hanging out there, which he could always sing. He'll pop up in a nightclub and sing a song or two. Billy Soul Bond was in the game. So it was me, Willie Clayton, and Billy Soul Bond, because Floyd didn't even have a record. Uh, Billy was in Chicago. He had a hit record in Chicago called Instant Lottery,
Some
which was a good record. Uh, and I used to go to Club Stingray to see Willie Clayton. I remember when Willie Clayton played drums for Albert King. And that's what showed me that a young guy could get in because Willie Clayton was kicking straight butt in Chicago at the time. That was like in '74. Willie had a record called Baby You Ready. And I looked at Willie being young. I'm like, hell, I can do this too. And I already had been singing in groups, but it was me and Willie Clayton that was opening up for your Bobby Bland, your Tyrone Davis, your Steve Hill, your Otis Clay, your Phil
let me
Johnsons.
pop in and pop back out.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, you good. You good.
Yeah. And during that time, uh, they were giving us 15 minutes to open up a show. And we had to put together a medley and try to do the best that we can do. Uh, I notice a lot of young guys now get one record. They say they want a headline, but we didn't have that option back then. And we were the only guys, the younger guys in the business, opening up for the legends. Your ZZ Hill, your Albert King. I used to hang with Albert King,
Wow.
Tyrone, Johnny, my uncle Lil Milton, Mavis Staples. They was out of Chicago, uh, and I got a chance to meet Denise DeSale by being with Bobby Rush.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I met Johnny Qatar Watson by being with Bobby Rush. So a lot of these guys, the older guys, I used to open for O.V. Wright. Uh, every blues and soul legend in the black genre of music I've opened and worked with and pretty much known personally. Then I started working in the predominant white market where I would open up for Coco Taylor, Jimmy Dawkins, Lefty Diaz, uh, and so many. I started touring with Junior Walker and the All Stars.
Mm.
Uh, and I just had the opportunity to get on that platform with the guys, and I learned a lot from the older guys and how sincere they was about the business. And it was no duck walk. I mean, it was educational for me. I didn't care about money. I just wanted to be on the stage. When Willie Clayton and I came up, we didn't care about money. We just wanted to be a star. We did more free shows than the average guy out here now today can get paid for. I didn't start making money to probably '95 when I had the record Backstreet. When I started with the company Echo Records, which was just John Ward was just a songwriter for Malaco, and he started a label. But I was signed with Ichiban Records in 1990, which had Tyrone Davis, Clarence Carter. That's where Stroking came from. Trudy Lynn, uh, Theodis Ely. See, when y'all learned about Theodis, it was stand up anytime. I used to tour. In 1993, Ichiban Records sent me on my first tour overseas, which was 1993. I did a 10-week tour. Theodis Ely was signed with a Wild Dog series, subsidiary label, and he was overseas playing that blues guitar kicking butt. I knew Theodis Ely probably 10 years before y'all did when it come to the record standing up in it. He was just playing the blues, working predominantly white market, basically. And we toured Switzerland together. Ichiban Records kept me on tour. So I've had the pleasure of touring Switzerland several times, Holland, Milan, Italy, Venice, and you name it. But because of Ichiban Records, that's who first started me. And the highlight, one of the biggest highlights of my career was my first tour overseas. It was to 10 weeks. I had never been nowhere 10 weeks away from home, and it was a lot of fun. And I just had a ball, Benny King was there, Curtis Mayfield was there, Joey Lagun from the Mighty Clouds of Joy was there. Man, I can name you stars forever in a day that I had the pleasure of working with. And I was the youngest artist on Ichiban Records. It was a major independent label. An Englishman owned it named John Abbey. Uh, and he liked me enough to sign me. And that was a highlight of my career.
Now, Mr. Wilson, first of all, I want to shout out those who are watching on Facebook. Lady Shay from Houston, Kimberly Isaiah, Starbuck Promotions. Now, thank y'all for tuning in. Can you explain to us the difference between the two markets? Because you spoke about the white market, and then also too, of course, we know the chitlin circuit, what have you. Can you explain
I
the
can
different experiences that you had, you know what I'm saying, with the white market, and how fruitful it was to be over there, or how fruitful it was to be on the chitlin circuit?
Well, here's what happened. I always been a venturer, but mainly a businessman. I used to hang with Chuck Jackson and Marvin Yancey when they first got Natalie Cole off the show, cut the record deal. And Chuck Jackson would always tell me, I'm talking about any day now, not any day now, Chuck Jackson. I'm talking about Chuck Jackson from the end of even me.
I know
He
exactly
say,
what you're talking about.
Charles, the money is in the administration. Now, when I used to hang on the north side, I used to watch Lefty sing records like I'm a Man, Gucci Man. I realized one thing about that market. They toured Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and they go on months tour. And I looked at my Uncle Mill and them, and they was just working Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They would say words to me. Him, Johnny Taylor, Tyron Carr, everybody. People said, "People, you only big record over here." But I would watch those guys in the white market get a record, didn't need to hit, and they had an agent, and they kept them guys on tour. So I started saying, that's what I want to do. I don't want to have to depend on a hit. I want to be able to work with a record, a good artist, a good song, a good show. And that's when I started going over to the predominant white market. But then they would tell me, they said, you're not a blues singer. You're a soul singer. So we want the blues over here. So my experience with the white market was that if, and it took me more years to learn this, if you don't blow a harmonica, you don't play guitar or blow a saxophone, they don't really know what to do with a stand-up singer over there. But the legendary soul singers like your Sam and Dave and your Otis Clay and your Seal Johnsons, they respected them because the guys got million-seller records in that soul genre. But as a blues singer, they didn't accept me until the 2000s. Okay. Now, the difference in the profit is this: the white blues club pays no money. They want three sets. The biggest artists over there in a club probably get paid 12, 1500, if that. But the festivals pay money. Okay. In the black market, you need a promotion man and you need a hit record to truly work on a phenomenal scale. You can work without a hit record, but to work on a phenomenal scale, you need a hit record. In the white market, you need a publicist, a good record, and a company that will be instrumental in helping you get signed to a booking agency that could tour you. Now, give you a good example. You pay all the dues in the black market, but it's the white market that puts you in the Blues Hall of Fame. Also, you can get paid more money on a festival over there than I can over here. In the black market, that's just the way the game go. When Bobby Rush went over there, my play brother Keith Fetterman out of Maryland, when he took Bobby Rush over there, they paid Bobby Rush more money than they paid the guys that's been there for 25, 30 years. It's something about the artists over here that they respect. But it wasn't the black market that inducted me, my late great partner Tyrone Davis, Leo Graham, his producer. They had passed on. They called me on a Sunday. I hung up the phone on the man because I thought he was scamming. My partner Garland Floyd out of Kansas City called me and said, "Boy, you a fool. They want to induct you in the Blues Hall of Fame." I said, "Why would they call me on a Sunday?" He said, "Charles, I told him you like family to me. It's okay to call you on a Sunday." He said, "Now I'm gonna have the man call you back." So the man called me back and explained. I'm like, "I'm trying to get a Grammy. You talking about the people I thought getting inducted Blues Hall of Fame either 80 years old or dead, you know?" But anyway, 2019, they inducted me, Tyrone Davis, Leo Graham, my partner LB Johnson, and a few more into the Blues Hall of Fame. That's another highlight of my career. I didn't see it coming. I didn't even thought I was worthy at the time because everybody I had seen got inducted was either old as hell or dead, you know. So I seen them induct my Uncle Milton, Bobby Bland, Denise Lascelles, Lattimore, Bobby Rush. I didn't see it coming for myself. I just thought that I didn't have enough accolades, but they thought I did. So I'm thankful to God for that. But the money is feasible in both markets. It's just Southern Soul, you got to have a hit. You see, I was in Southern Soul before it was Southern Soul. Now I hear everybody talk about who named this genre Southern Soul. Most of them don't know what they're talking about. I heard one person say something close to the real deal. Sir Charles was just on the Ryan Nelson show and doing a thing with a promoter, and he said something about where it came from. He's right. One day, my partner Lenny Lewis from Jewel Records, Sue Records, who put the record Back Up Love on O.B. Buchanan in 95. Lenny called me up one day. He said, "Charles Wilson, y'all ain't soul blues singers. Y'all Southern soul singers." At that point, he went to Mel Waiters. He went to Echo Records. He got a lot of our songs. He put out Southern Soul Volume 1 compilation, Southern Soul Volume 2. I have those compilations in my storage. Okay? But they still wasn't truly accepting the word Southern Soul, but it was out there. Okay? But this when Southern Soul came truly to light. I'm telling you what I know, not what nobody told me. I was there. They had been talking Southern Soul, people still saying soul blues. But then Sir Charles came and he had this record. Senator Jones called me, said, "Boy, I got an artist that's gonna change the world." They put that song out on Sir Charles, "You Better Call Jody." Got hot. And that's when the people truly started believing that there was a genre called Southern Soul. I don't care what nobody else tells you. I'm telling you the real deal. They had been trying to say it all along, but they wasn't really taking heed to it. But when Sir Charles hit, and when he said he was the king of Southern Soul, I said to myself, yeah, because they wouldn't accept the word Southern Soul until Sir Charles hit. It's just like back before Willie Clayton got hot. I remember having a conversation with Tommy Couch Sr. He said, "Charles Wilson, we're not going to be signing no young artists." Willie Clayton got hot and hit. he opened the door for companies to start wanting to sign younger artists in this soul blues, chillin' southern soul circuit. But Sir Charles put a stamp on it where they started to accept the word southern soul. Before then, I don't care who was cutting records, they didn't accept the word southern soul. And when Sir Charles put out You Better Call Jody, that's when they started to accept that there was a new genre called Southern Soul. And when he said the beginning of it,
Now, I remember that conversation because me and you had a conversation about where that name came from
yes,
with Kim Cole on the phone with us
right.
talking, and you was giving me that history of where the name actually came from. And I've always kept that in the back of my mind when individuals talk about it. And I'm glad that I have you here to verify this story because it's hard for me to say, you know what I'm saying, this is what happened because I wasn't there. But
I
knowing
was.
that you have firsthand experience is able to make these things happen. Now, watching the music industry or watching the music genre evolve from the time that you got into it till today, what are some of the things that what are the pros and cons that you see with the genre today going forward?
Well, the pros are this. Johnny Taylor was the biggest artist in this soul blues circuit. Okay. Uh Johnny was getting max 25, 30,000. Tickets, $35, $40 tickets. Now people are getting 35, 40, $50,000, I heard, and tickets $100 and some dollars. Well, it's a good thing that the market can get that kind of money. But if you watch yourself and you look, shows are being canceled left and right. Now, this is my opinion, and I have a right to it.
Right.
Number one, I can't say a brother shouldn't get paid $100,000 if he wants to. That's fine. But I think what has happened is that the money has outgrown the market. And the reason why is because you got shows canceling. And this market ain't never been set up for nobody to pay $100 for a Southern Soul Blues artist for a ticket. Now, I ain't knocking nobody. I don't want nobody to say, well, Charles Wilson hate. I don't need to hate. I'm just saying the reason I think the failure is starting to happen is that it's been taken too fast. I don't want to say that a man shouldn't get $50,000. If he can get it, get it. But that ain't never been this kind of price. And if you're gonna go with those prices, if you're gonna go with those kind of shows, make sure the market has that credibility. See, this ain't the R&B market with Charlie Wilson, Mary J. Blige, and them is. They always had a big ticket price. The the market ain't ready for the price that's being charged. The market ain't ready for the ticket price that's being charged. You don't have to take my word for it. That's why the shows are canceling. Canceling. Look at the Blues All Right tour. Julius Lewis and them always pretty much had a successful run, but now I'm hearing their shows canceled. My opinion, I don't know, but maybe the prices are too high. And when I came up in the game, and it still exists, but a lot of people ain't aware. You got an A market, you got a B market, and you got a C market. When I came up in the game, an artist with a hit record should not be seen. Chicago A market should not be seen in Chicago, but more than 3 times a year. A B market like Memphis, 2 times, maybe 3 times. But these artists are playing these markets 6, 7, 8 times a year. That's called burn me out. When people see you 5 times and the same show come and the same artist on it, listen, husband and wife get tired of each other. Okay? So it's nobody's using the strategy. I remember Bobby Womack. I remember Seal Johnson, Tyrone, and Johnny. They wouldn't let you play them more than 3, maybe 4 times in an A market because they know that they had to eat next year. And they didn't care about the money. They care more about the career and where it can go from today. And nobody uses that strategy anymore because they want me, I'm gonna go. I can understand that because money is money and people need it. But there's no structure in Southern Soul. I don't care what they say after I get doing this interview. The problem is there's no structure in Southern Soul, and some of the people that's running Southern Soul know about much about what they're doing as I do flying an airplane. Some people got money and they don't know exactly what they're doing. Some people don't have money and know and don't know. So that's why it's failing. I'm not telling the promoter that he shouldn't get his money. I'm not telling the artist that he shouldn't charge it. But if they can see what I see and they see shows canceling, something is wrong. Either you're playing the same people too much, either the prices are too high, and I can never say an artist charging too much. I don't want to say that because that would be hating on them. I don't want to say they're charging too much. But all I say is this: I'm an artist and I know 2 things. If I overcharge and don't draw, they're gonna say Charles Wilson charging this money and he needs to draw. Now here's another thing that I learned, and I learned it from Tyrone. Joshua Mel, if you hire me on a festival, I can tell you I want $7,000. And if I'm somewhat hot, you can put me on the show. But then if you play by myself and I tell you I want $7,000, you'll see how much Charles Wilson is really worth. And the first thing Bobby Rush taught me on this road was you only worth what you draw. Now he said, Charles, sometimes a man might don't want to give you, for example, for $1,000. And you know you're worth more. But if you ain't known in that market, it's a choice of yours. Do I want to open that door for myself in that market? If I do, I'll take this small money, go in there, show these people what I can do, and see what my strength is. So they can accept this any way you want to. When you work a festival for a promoter, you can bury yourself. You can say $5,000. Your record, how he might get, but if you bring it back by yourself, he'll see what your worth is. And that's exactly what I think is happening. The worth is not there on every show. Some, yeah. I'm not gonna say what an artist ain't worth. That's not my job to say. If he feel he should get $100,000, get it. If somebody pay it, get it. But if you don't deliver, then the promoter's gonna say, "Hey man, how did Joshua Mel do?" Well, man, I lost. That put a dent in your career. So that's a decision that an individual should make on his own. Uh, but like I say, it's not for me to say. It's just my opinion of what I think is happening with the show. And I heard Sir Charles say something, and I didn't know that Charles was really this knowledgeable of the business. I know he was musically. He said, and I learned this from Uncle Milton, Bobby Rush, Tyrone, and Johnny. He said a promoter put together a show. He got to do his footwork. Get out. Get into the beauty shops. Well, ain't no more mom and pop record shops. That was a key place. Get into the beauty shop. Go to the grocery stores. You got to do your footwork when you listen. Promoting the show is no duck walk. By the time you get through promoting the show, even if you make profit, you want to rest for 5, 6 days. So Charles said something that made sense about getting out, putting your leg work in, putting your footwork in, hitting the beauty shops, the grocery stores. You got to go back to the basic to make these shows truly work. And that he was right because that's all we knew. We went put posters in the beauty shop. We went to the grocery store, put posters on the pole until the city stopped that. We put flyers on cars. You got to do the leg work, and you got to constantly oversee. Being a promoter is harder than being a recording artist.
Now, Mr. Wilson, hold on one second. I want to A lot of people are starting to fall in here just to get this knowledge that you bestowing on us. I got my brother Ike Dirty in here, Vicky Paulo from Live with Vicky, Devonice is in here, Big Steve. You know what I'm saying? The family done fell off in here. We got Old Man MP. We got Yolanda Marshall. You know what I mean? Everybody's starting to fall in here, for this knowledge because a lot of times people don't understand, like, even when, if you were somewhere, say you're in Columbus, Mississippi,
Okay. Right.
30 days later, you shouldn't be in Starkville. You know what I mean?
You should. The market is tiny. I
Mm-hmm.
lived in Columbus, Mississippi for over 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
Starksville up the road. If
Mm-hmm.
you come in Columbus in January, you can come back to Starksville in June. You
Mm-hmm.
come back in Starksville in February. You may come and you may do all right, but when you come back in April, I guarantee you the promoter gonna be mad at you.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's what I mean about structure. The
Mm-hmm.
artist himself has to say, hey man, I'm hot, but I'm not gonna let you kill my career in this market. I work. I want the money, true enough. I need the money. Who don't want to be wealthy and rich? Who
Right.
don't want to be able to feed their family? But it's the same thing as making a choice of doing right or wrong. If you do wrong and you do wrong long enough, one day you're gonna get caught. But if you do right, you can sustain. You may not have the glory that everybody else have, but you still exist. So an artist has to know what he's got. If he's hot, I'm not gonna let you play me in Memphis, Tennessee 10 times this year. I'm not gonna let you play me there. I'll let you play me in Memphis, then take me to Jackson. You know what I'm saying? And then wait 3 more months after then and bring me back to Memphis. But when you're talking AB markets, you're talking 3 times a year. But I don't think a lot of the artists know what I just talked about. They don't even know about A market, B market. Some do. I'm not taking all the credit,
Right.
but some don't know that. But I grew up with guys. Me and Willie Clayton came up under guys that had knowledge of this thing called music business. Okay, the money wasn't that great when Johnny and them was living. It was good, but it wasn't 40, 50,000 they was gonna give a Southern Soul artist. That was R&B money. That was Charlie Wilson money. Some Mary J. Blige, R. Kelly kind of money, and up. You know what I'm saying? If you gonna get that kind of action and put $100 ticket prices on shows, the market needs to be built up a little more, a lot more. Okay, because the market hasn't caught up with the prices that they're charging and paying. Now, as I said again, I don't want no artist or no promoter to say Charles Wilson ain't got no business speaking on what I'm doing. I'm not speaking on what you're doing. I'm talking about marketplace, promotion, and structure. And you have to have structure and everything. Like a lot of times, I've been here since 1978 recording. I've been singing since 7, in clubs since 14. I got 4 albums, 2645, 16 CD singles, and 33 full length CDs. I got 2 WC Handy nominees, Jackson Music Award. I had a #1 blues record on the Roots Music Chart, okay, in the white market. Now, most of the people in the black market, they don't care about a Blues Hall of Famer or a legend. I see people talk that they don't know what they're saying. Artists have come out, been around for 4, 5 years and get a record. They say legendary. That's not legendary status. You get hot, they call you a legend. They don't know what they're doing. The next thing it comes to this point, Bobby Rush told me something when I was a boy. He said, Charles, he said, Wilson, when you grow up in this business, people that you make could sing better than people that you may know more about the business than might pass you up. He said, don't get mad. I said, what you saying? He said, Because Wilson, it ain't the good who always make it. It's the man that get break. I can name 15 artists done past Charles Wilson. I can name a bunch of artists done had bigger records than me. Joshua Mill, right now, I can take you into the studio, cut a record on you. You ain't got to be no great singer, but if it's a hit song and you can deliver it, tomorrow the record may spiral so big till you have King George opening up for you. Now you know you ain't had the few records this man had. You know you ain't the artist that he is. It ain't about that. It's the man that get the break. And if you get a hit song and you can deliver it, I know a lot of artists that are not great vocalists, but they stars. You remember Bobby McFerrin? Here's a little song I wrote, a little song from one record, and he's working off that record and make more money than 10 Southern Soul artists. My whole point is, as Bobby Rush said, it ain't the good who always make it. It's the man that get the break. But as you know, who's ever hot, that's who they follow. They look over everybody else. If you ain't hot, you can forget it. It don't matter how talented you is. It don't matter how long you've been in the game. It don't matter your history. People are clout chasers. Monkey see, monkey do. If the world over there start tell people that I'm the biggest artist in the world, then they will follow me. Nobody does a history. I've seen ladies get on there that book a few artists, and they said, such they should start naming artists. Such is a legend. Such ain't a legend. Such had one record. He been around 3-4 years. You call a man a legend. He don't even know how to spell legend. My whole point I'm reaching, not putting nobody down, is that do your due diligence when you get on a microphone and speak of or against someone. Have some knowledge to back that up. Because if not, folks that do know just sit back and just call you a damn fool. Okay? I know a lot of artists that has big breaks. Don't even know the break that they have. And here's the problem with a lot of artists. I had this conversation with some friends of mine. I said, the problem is everybody wants to be bigger than the next artist. So they fight, post out, hate on each other. Nobody, if there is, I have not heard. Nobody has said, I want to be bigger than Southern Soul. You see, Joshua Mill, before you and I did this interview, this is the honest God truth. I just signed a digital management contract with a white manager, used to head up Warner Brother Records, on my phone. In fact, when I get off of you, I got to go back and do some initialing. I did that because the guy started as a bus driver, tour manager, A&R person for a lot of the major labels, and he's managing, and he chose me. I had been looking for a white manager in the predominant white market for years because I record in both markets. Now, people think when you say white market, you say blues. No, it's 5 or 6 white markets over there. Now, I'm not going to record blues for whatever label he get to do me because they don't really care for a stand-up singer. They want a guitar player, harmonica player. And if you think I'm lying about any of this, you call up Bobby Rush. He'll tell you. They want you to play something. But it's 3 or 4 bigger markets in the white market that I qualify for that I'm going to do. And I've been doing and going to keep doing. My point I'm reaching is everybody's sitting there. And there's some guys over there that probably think like me. I just hadn't had the conversation with them. They always try to be bigger than each other. But I have not heard no one yet say, I want to be bigger than Southern Soul. Because Southern Soul is bigger than it ever been. But there are some markets that are truly bigger than Southern Soul ever gonna get. And not putting Southern Soul down because it came a long way and it's doing good. It's just it has no structure. in Southern Soul. That is the problem. Southern Soul has no structure. You have people uh just walk in the door and say, "Hey, I'm an artist. I'm a this. I'm a that." Josh, man, I remember the time when a guy like me and Willie Clayton come along, and I know this is a different time, and time doesn't change. We couldn't even get distribution. We couldn't even go inside of a radio station. We had to hire a promotion man. And when we give that promotion man the record, he give it to the radio jock. They say, he needs to go back and remix this. Or they call the record store, yeah, this Joshua Mail from blah 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 got a new record on Charles Wilson. He got records in the store. No, we don't have no records. Oh, tell the promotion we can't play this. They ain't even got records in the stores. It when me and Willie Clayton came along, you know, the first record I ever recorded in my life cost me $8,400. It was a 12-inch single. The second one, trying to make a wrong thing right. It costed plenty of money. That's why record companies gave Tyrone Davis them $350,000 and $400,000 album budgets because they had to cut with live band back then. Uh, thank God for TikTok. Thank God for Facebook because a lot of artists out there now that are hot and stars, if it had not been Facebook and they had to do what me and Willie Clayton them did, to go straight to the radio station and hope we can get the DJ play the record, they wouldn't be a star today. Facebook have billions of people, TikTok and all that, so they get more exposure. That's the whole key, raising your visibility, getting exposure. They wouldn't be stars today if it wasn't for that. Because radio can only play so many records, and everybody won't play your record. And I don't care how well you know a DJ, every DJ ain't gonna like your record. It could be a good record, but he has to like it to want to really play it. Okay? So, you know, the concept of what this game is all about, it's not right. There's no structure in the game anymore. Uh, I can't say there ever be. Those that's doing well, I take my hat off to them because you got a lot of good artists. A few that I truly admire, like Marcellus the singer. I like King George. I like Jay Wan. I like a lot. I like Pokey. I like a lot of for what they do because anytime a man wake up and pay this business, man, this business ain't for boys. This business separates me from the boys. I promise you. You got to pay this because what you do today may not pay off today, may pay off 10 years from now. So if you quit, you just get out of luck. So the problem
Now,
is no structure and a lot of guys, all I can tell you is this. If you're making money, buy you some dirt, buy you some property, because hit records will be the world will kiss your butt today and tomorrow they won't speak to you. That's the
I
game
tell
of the music.
you, I've always been interested in the experience that our artists have going overseas and how they was able to get overseas because I know the infatuation that they have with the artists from over here, the soul artists, the blues artists, the music period from over here. So I was wondering, like, and you touched on it, you know what I'm saying, extremely about the markets and the different markets that's over there and what type of agent that you need to get over there. Now, Mr. Wilson, if we don't play none of your music tonight, it's your fault. I'm just gonna let you know it's your fault
Well, you asked.
because you done gave us a lesson tonight in the business,
Well,
and
everybody
it's
go to YouTube. I got new music up. I done recorded 12 singles in the past 3 months. And the one that I'm pushing most is called Can't Wait. Just go to YouTube and look in the past 3 months what Charles Wilson has did, and you can get my music. Now, to go
definitely.
to over number one, they treat it like a number one, you can have a number one record overseas and it has not sold but one copy. Okay? They just admire our music. In Holland, it's a black man paradise. A black man can't even piss on the street and do wrong. In Switzerland, they love soul music. They love artists. They love black artists. I went to Switzerland one day to do a 4-day tour at the Piazza Festival, and it was a promoter named Fritz. I had a white guitar player in my band. He said, Charlie, we love you, but don't you ever bring him back. They don't ever bring them. He told me, don't ever bring me a white guitar player and you're a blues soul artist. We don't like that here. He told me that. I said, okay, no problem. But I love touring Switzerland. I wish I could tour Europe, North America, South America 6 months out of a year. Not consistently, but a month here, month off, month. I love that market. The first time I went in '93, I had about two suitcases full of CDs, T-shirts. Normally, custom will make you pay for that. I didn't know because they did my partner Otis Clay like that. But the guy in custom opened up my suitcase with all them CDs, took him one for himself, closed back, zipped, and passed me through. I was happy. Now back then, '93, I'm with Ichiban Records. We sold CDs for 30 francs, which is 22 American dollar, because the bank rates over there fluctuate like the stock market. Tomorrow you might take them $100 and get 120 francs back. Tomorrow you might take them $100 and get 80 francs back. So the money fluctuate like the stock market over there. You got to know when to cash in, when not to. But I loved overseas. That was the main reason for me just signing this contract right before I started talking to you, because it gets me back overseas. Now, I had an agent during the years of me being with Echo Records and me working the black market. I had an agent. His name was Tom Raider out of Milwaukee. The man sent me to Switzerland 3 times a year, and he kept me working places like performing arts centers, culture centers, festivals, uh, theaters. The experience that I never would have gotten just in the black market. And that's why I've been trying to get back into that market, and I finally just signed a contract a few minutes ago.
You
But
know,
I'm still gonna record for both markets.
that's that's the lesson that we all need when it comes down to understanding the different markets, right? When you talk about the A market, the B market in different places, even the C markets, people don't know where their music falls in or where their audience is. They just take the social media following as this is your audience, your core audience, without paying attention to your streams and even taking a chance with, like you stated, to do their own shows to see what your worth is. Can you
And I
can you
can
do your own
understand
show?
some of them not doing it because they might not be financially able. So I can understand that. But the market has had a problem that, like, a promoter come to you and say, "Hey, man, think about putting Charles Wilson on the show. What you think?" And if you somehow done had a misunderstanding with me or don't like me, you gonna play me down. For example, I
Right.
think that a promoter should never ask another artist about another artist. Get to know him on his own. Don't even ask another promoter, because some promoters you may work for, and you have to tell them a piece of your mind because they trying to screw you around. And the minute you check them, they tell people, "Oh, Charles Wilson hard to get along with." So it get away from what's right until people start to take the friendship advice. If I was a promoter and I wanted to hire artists, I would never ask another promoter or another artist about it. Okay, I go with them, because what might happen with them might not happen with me. And you don't know what your friend, even though he your friend, you don't know what gonna happen between you and that guy. The guy might have got a woman that he wanted, or the guy might have accidentally slept with his woman and didn't know it, and he gonna post salt. So you cut yourself out of a good artist trusting someone's opinion. A promoter told me one day, I was talking to him. I said, well, listen, such know me. Ask him about me. He said, hey, man, listen, Charles, I won't do that. He said, just earlier today, I asked the artist about another artist, and the artist supposed to be his friend. And he told me the guy couldn't sing, the guy wasn't worth nothing. Why don't I hire him? And I know these guys supposed to be friends. And Joshua Mel, that's why you might wonder. I never see Charles Wilson clicked up. I see other artists in the crowd and around. I never see Charles Wilson nowhere. I'm a loner. I stay by myself. I be by myself. I've stood in crowds too many times where, for example, you tell me this man your brother, and when he walk away, you talk about him like a dog. So I know if he your brother and you talked about him, what you do to me. So I kind of stay to myself, and I try to do my own thing, and I stay in my own lane, and I just mind my own business.
You know, it's amazing once you think about your journey and so much of these life lessons. What are some of the business lessons that you've learned over the years?
For one, always do your homework on whatever business you're gonna do. Record companies. I've had bad experiences with record companies. They'll want you to honor your contract, but then they'll not want to pay you. Some of them. Now, here's where a lot of artists make a lot of mistakes at. I'm gonna give you a quick, easy example. You're a new artist, you're trying to get in the game, the record company sign you with a deal, give you a 5% contract. Now hold it, Josh Mill. He might sell 50,000 records, but he don't owe you no money because he gave you a 5% contract. He spent, for example, $25,000 in pressing, promotion, and all of that. When a man give you a 5% contract, that means that you get $5,000 out of every $100,000. So when he sell 50,000, when he make $500,000, you just broke even with the 25 he spent. So you got no money coming. And they said the record company cheated me because you didn't know what you was doing. Now think about what I said. He gave you a 5% contract. He made $500,000 selling your record, but you just broke even on $25,000 that he spent in promotion, which they didn't probably spend 25, but they said 25. So you still got no money coming. But here a man I set up there and got $475,000 in his pocket. You ain't got a dime, and you say he cheated you. He really didn't. You took a 5% contract. He didn't cheat you. He didn't cheat you because the simple fact the percentage you settle for ain't gonna allow you. He got to make $1 million for him to even owe you $5,000, $25,000. You see what I'm saying? So man, that man, I know he made at least 500,000. He did, but he don't owe you nothing because you wanted to be an artist, and what you did was sign a 5% contract. But guess what? Charles Wilson did it before, but I had to learn the hard way. That's how I know. You know what I'm saying? The things that I got screwed over with in the business was pretty much my fault because I was eager to be in the game. I was eager to be an artist. I wanted to get in the game, and I got screwed. I know companies right now that owe me money, probably ain't gonna never pay me. In fact, me and the man just got to talking about it. He said, I'm going to go get your money. I said, go get it. But my whole point is, if I was an artist today, for example, in Southern Soul that was coming up, the first thing I learned about is publishing, writers' right, BMI, Sound Exchange. I learned about all of that. Then I cut my own record and put it up on DistroKid myself. And then I would promote it and pay a few people to help me promote it. Okay. Now, if a label came to me once I got a big record, it's a word that's everybody know. It's called attorney.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, get you a good entertainment attorney, and say, hey, uh, Atlantic Record want to sign me. Would you look over this contract? But first of all, people say, well, I got a manager. Your manager work at Walmart, and your manager have no music experience, so you ain't got no manager.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna get a manager, either you have to have knowledge to teach them the right thing to know and read and know to do, or you have to get one that has the experience under their belt. And some artists don't need a manager because they ain't got nothing to manage.
Man, this
Mr. Wilson,
it,
with
Mr.
all that
Wilson.
knowledge that you have right there, I'm surprised. Are you thinking about making putting out a book or a
Ho
memoir?
ho ho! You number 580 probably gonna ask me, Charles, why don't you do a book? I mean, it ain't because I'm I'm no genius. I'm smart. It's like your mama send you to school and your math teacher give you some homework and you study to pass the test.
Hmm.
I've been here recording since 1978. That's almost 50 some years. I studied. I got screwed. I got slapped down. I got beat down. If you don't learn nothing from that, there's no knowledge or education for you. I've had 10 artists on my record label before. Uh, I've cut records. People, Charles Wilson stole that man record. Nobody called and said, "Hey, Charles, not getting in your business. What happened?" They always hear stuff and run like hell with it, and they know more about your business than you do, and they wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
I see it all the time. That's all the bickering. Now, I've seen artists get on Facebook. I've been here these amount of years. I've been here these amount of years. I deserve this. And I said to myself, shit, I should get the White House. I've been cutting since 1978. They should give me the White House. If it's like that, you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
I mean, if you're going to count your years, they don't care. Look, Charles Wilson been cutting records since 1978. Do you think the public care? They care about what hit I have out now. If Charles Wilson ain't got a hit and ain't hot now, he's just another good singing ass artist. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just talking fact.
That's it.
I'm
Well,
just
Mr.
talking
Charles,
fact.
we coming to the end, and we got to bring you back because there's so much more that we left on the table in this conversation. Um, but I want to give you an opportunity now to let people know how they can get you booked for shows, um, how they can get your music, how they can follow you, and when the next time they'll be able to see you perform.
Well, November 2nd, I'm in Indianola at Club Ebony, Indianola, Mississippi, Club Ebony, the landmark club. Been there for years. Back in the day, I used to sell it out. My first time back in there since Miss Mary Shepard passed away performing. But if you want to hire Charles Wilson, I'm not really hard to find. I'm on Facebook. You can get in touch with a few people. Got my number. Josh Mail got my number. I'm not hard to find. My number is 662 889 7317. That's 662 889 7317. And for your promoters that's listening, I'll work with you. I have not a problem. I don't mind paying my dues. I'll work with you, and I guarantee you won't get hurt from my price. Uh, we'll do what we do. If we do good, we do good. If we don't, we don't. We'll pick it up and try it again. Because I'm an old school guy and I understand the logic of the game. And thank God for podcast shows like you, Josh Mel, because you give artists a platform to learn, to find, to seek, and I just hope some of the knowledge I shared today will help someone along the way. And if someone called you, say, "Hey, I want to get in touch with Charles Wilson. I'm an artist. I just want to get some advice or some knowledge." If I could say something that'll help him on his way, I will. I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. I'm a real fact. If a promoter asks to get in touch with me, give him my number, and whenever you want me to come back on this show, have your questions lined up. If I can answer them, if I can't, I tell you where to go.
Definitely. I appreciate you so much. Also, too, Daryl Simmons. What's going on with you, bro? Daryl
Oh,
said, tell the
that's the man
truth to him.
right there. Hey,
Daryl
that's
said, tell the truth to him.
that's
But
listen.
I want to thank
Earl Jim's a
everybody,
good
man.
man, man. That's a good man. He tried to
Yeah,
help everybody out.
everybody. But I want to thank everybody who's watching on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and also GC Radio. I want to thank y'all for helping us stream this national and international in 132 countries. I want to thank Third Coast Society TV with Lisa Good and Derek Morris, and also 282.3 out in Columbus, Ohio, for making us there. Greatly appreciated. Hey, big bro, you know what time it is, man.
Yes,
And I
sir.
want to shout out to Miss Yolanda Marshall for making this show happen for me.
Oh, no doubt. Yo, yo.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for tuning in to Real to Real 360 with our special guest, none other than Mr. Charles Wilson himself. Mr. Wilson, like we told you, you ain't got a home away from home. You got a home right here with us on Real to Real 360. So anytime, if there's anything that we can do to help with you, please don't hesitate to call on us, and we're definitely going to have you back in store because you have given so many jewels on the inside that a lot of people need to take heed to. And we thank you for that.
Thank you all so much, man.
Appreciate you. Talk to you later, though, Mr. Wilson.
All right, then. All right, bye.
Take care.
Well, this is our weekend.
It's the weekend, family. Yeah. All right, y'all. Y'all maintain and be safe out there, and we'll see you when we see you. I am DJ KY's Allah, aka Kato the Black Superhero. That's my brother, like none other, Mr. PhD himself, Josh Melala, but also known as
Mr. Plead the Fifth.
Y'all think I'm kidding me? I'm gonna write that song, 2 Steps from the Bar. Watch.
And I plead the fifth.
All right, bro. We out of here, man. Y'all take care, maintain. Peace and love to Allah's mighty 5% nation of God's and earth, y'all. We out of here.
We out of here.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, we starting to come to the end of the show. Right now, I want to take the time out and thank our guests for coming on. Also, too, we want to make sure that y'all listening and subscribing, and tell a friend and keep sharing, because we're going to keep bringing y'all the real content. You know what I mean? So, DJ KY, my brother, take us up out of here, son. Peace.
I want to give a big shout out to the nation of gods and earth. To all the human families on planet Earth, I say peace. But to our subscribers, those who continue to watch and listen to the show each and every time we come on, I give a big shout out of love, peace, and happiness. To be the man, woman, and child of the you and I burst. It's time for us to disperse. We bring the best, not the worst. We thank you once again for tuning in to the Real 360. Bring a friend to hit that like and subscribe so we continue to grow to bring more knowledge of wisdom to